Right now, we are facing an unprecedented crisis of the novel coronavirus pandemic. So today I would like to talk about some of the recent changes of shelter-in-place regulations. And since this is a kayak fishing channel, I would like to talk about how the recent changes are affecting our kayak fishing. Up until recently, outdoor activities were encouraged as long as you keep your 6-foot social distancing. However, with the increase in COVID-19 cases and the death caused by it, many of the Bay Area counties recently released more strict version of shelter-in-place order. And unfortunately, fishing is not quite an essential activity. I won't be able to go over every county's regulation in NorCal, but I'd like to go over a few. But you should definitely get familiarized yourself with your local county or surrounding county's shelter-in-place order. As of now, the most strict counties are San Francisco and Marin County. These counties are now prohibiting the use of motor vehicle for outdoor activities. This means you are only allowed to walk, run, scooter, bicycle, or other non-motorized means for outdoor activities. San Mateo County only allows you to travel within 5 miles for outdoor activities. And Santa Clara County only allows you to travel within the county for outdoor activities. I assume these regulations might be subject to change depending on the number of COVID-19 cases in the future. As some of you may know, I've been working in emergency medical services in the last 20 plus years. I think that I might pay a little more closer attention of this pandemic and have a little more first-hand experience than average person. So I would like to talk about my thoughts on this coronavirus outbreak and also how we are dealing with it right now. So let's go over some facts about coronavirus. So unlike the typical flu, coronavirus is much more contagious, and COVID-19 is anywhere from 10 to 30 times more deadly. In some cases, some areas, even much higher. There is a disagreement on scientific community whether the coronavirus is transmitted through droplet or airborne. So I will try to clarify where the disagreement is. So the typical flu is transmitted by droplets, which is projected when an infected person either coughs or sneezes. The typical size of the droplet particle is around 0.5 micron in size. Research has shown that unlike the regular flu virus, coronavirus is present in much smaller particle in size of 0.01 microns, which we call aerosol. Since they are present in much smaller particle, the concentration of the aerosol can flow around the air up to 3 hours where there is no ventilation, and also can be projected by infected person just by talking or breathing. So where is the disagreement? Coronavirus does not technically meet the criteria like other airborne diseases like tuberculosis, chickenpox, measles, and there's no question that it can be contracted through the air if there is little or no ventilation. In the ambulance and hospital settings, we treat COVID-19 as an airborne disease. And we take airborne precautions such as wearing an N95 mask, goggles, and gowns. So what's scary about coronavirus is coronavirus can be contracted from an asymptomatic carrier. Unlike the flu, a carrier who does not have any symptoms like coughing, sneezing, fever, respiratory distress can spread the virus. So anyone can be spreading the virus right now without knowing. Another reason why coronavirus is so contagious is that they can live on the surface much longer, sometimes even up to several days, depending on the surface. Because of these facts, more than 2 weeks ago, I decided to practice social distancing with everyone, including my parents, except for my son and my wife, who live in the same home. However, other countries have different tactics about battling the coronavirus outbreak. For example, South Korea has minimized the spread of the virus without the mandated lockdown. like the shelter in place we have in the US. South Korea did it by aggressive testing, tracing contracts, and quarantine. However, with the lack of test kits we have in the US, as I mentioned in my previous video, the number one way to stop the spread of the virus is social distancing. So what does all this mean in regard to kayak fishing? I believe that kayak fishing is low risk outdoor activity in a perfect scenario since it's naturally social distancing sport. I say low risk because every time you touch the gas nozzle, exchange change, or hand over your credit card at a gas station or fast food restaurant, there is a chance of contracting and spreading the virus. But sometimes everything does not go perfectly as you plan. When your vehicle breaks down and need a tow, when you cut your finger or hook your skin and have to go to the ER, when you get into a motor vehicle accident while driving to and from kayak fishing, or when you or your buddy get into a kayak fishing accident, you are going to have direct contact with other people, which means you are now in higher risk of spreading and contracting the virus. Yes, I do agree grocery shopping is much higher risk, and I strongly recommend you guys to wear a mask and gloves while you're grocery shopping, and also recommend that you minimize the time you spend and the frequency of you going grocery shopping. That means no more beer runs. So what I'm trying to say is kayak fishing is not non-risk activity. In a perfect scenario, it is a low-risk activity, especially if you take extreme precautions such as sanitizing your hand before and after you touch anything. But there's always a risk, and sometimes you cannot control the risk factors. Because of everything I just mentioned, and because I have a handful of followers, even though I take extreme precautions every time I go out, I don't think this is the right time to encourage you guys to go out kayak fishing. So I have decided to suspend my kayak fishing until this pandemic clears. I'm not gonna say you guys should suspend your kayak fishing as well, but please spend a little time to think about everything I've just said. I do encourage you guys to at least reduce the number of your outings if your county allows, of course. I encourage you to stay local when you do go out. Whatever you guys decide, I don't cast judgment, but please practice self-distancing and be safe out there. Lastly, I want to say thank you to not only the healthcare workers, but all essential workers who are taking risk to keep the country going. And I want to say special thanks to the grocery store workers who are taking higher risk so we don't go hungry. In the next few weeks, I will bring you guys gear review videos, kayak safety, and other kayak related videos until I can encourage everyone to go out without any hesitation. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and please stay safe during this crisis.